title of this chapter focuses on the need to develop global talent for the development and execution of a global strategy. This is very true and will be highlighted during the brief overview of the chapter. However, my dissertation topic was on the subject, but from a different perspective. Many companies are not as successful in launching the global strategy because the board of directors did not have the global experience to help guide the executive team as it transformed itself from a domestic, market-oriented company to a globally focused company. The role of HR becomes more important as the company starts its transition to a global company. First, let's be clear. The activities of human resource management includes human resource strategy, staffing, performance evaluation, management development, compensation, and labor relations. However, none of these activities occur in a vacuum, and all eventually become intertwined with the global strategy. Through the influence and efforts of the HRM function, it impacts character, development, quality, productivity of the firm's human resources. The HRM functions help the company achieve its primary strategic goal of value creation. Let's be honest, these four elements can easily be applied to any domestic company, and they should be. Today, HRM plays a strategic role in a domestic company, but that role is even more complex when a level of being global is added to its scope of responsibilities. This requirement for staffing, management development, performance evaluation, compensation activities, etc., increases the level of complexity for the HRM due to the differences between labor markets, culture, legal system, economic systems that exist in foreign markets. If the company is needing to build a bench of managers capable of leading and managing the activities of a global company, the HRM function must deal with a host of issues. It must decide how to staff key management posts in the company, domestically and in foreign markets. It must decide how to develop managers who can be familiar with the nuances of doing business in different cultures. The performance evaluation of staff in different countries is always a challenge. And finally, one area that is always challenging for HRM is the use of expatriates, which is a citizen of one country working abroad in a foreign country at the request of the home country. The decision to use expatriates can be costly, sometimes 3 to 4 times the domestic cost. So it must be clear as to why, the timing, the who, and the compensation behind an expatriate posting. There was a time the war of talent was focused on skills and seniority, location, and direct rivals. This meant that if you lived in San Francisco, you would compete against other people in the area, or if that you were a Coca-Cola, you compete against Pepsi, Ford versus Toyota, Boeing versus Airbus. Rarely did you see executive talent changing industries. They may go work for a supplier or related industry, like an airline executive going to work for a cruise ship company. Today, everyone is competing for everyone. Coca-Cola is competing with Toyota, and McDonald's is competing with Airbus. This competition also extends to the gig economy, where smart and talented individuals might decide to join a startup with tremendous upside through stock compensation instead of working for your company. So what does talent management truly mean? Talent management can be defined as the anticipation of required human capital for an organization and the planning to meet those needs. Talent management is the science of using strategic human resources planning to improve the business value and to make it possible for companies and organizations to reach their goals. Everything done to recruit, retain, develop, reward, and make people perform forms a part of the talent management as well as the strategic workforce planning. A talent management strategy should link to the business strategy to function more appropriately. For most companies, finding good and talented people is not a hard thing to do. The hard part is developing strategies to make sure that they want to stay working for the same business that hired them. If someone has so much talent and they are good at what they do, businesses will want them to stay and work there forever. However, most people are either satisfied with their job they have or they go out and look for other opportunities. Talent management and employee retention is critical to the success of the organization. Without a focus and an understanding of people, behaviors, and what engagement and reward strategies work for best for your culture, attracting the right talent and reducing turnover can even be more difficult. This chapter provides some good insights, but here are a few more to consider. Provide career navigation and personal branding strategies from the get-go. Involve employees in the talent management and recruitment process as much as possible. Ask questions to find out what attracted them to your organization to begin with, what motivates them, and what keeps them engaged. By letting potential hires and employees alike know your organization will help them plan their desired path, set concrete goals, and provide support to help them achieve those goals, you will attract talent and increase engagement and retention. Hiring the right managers makes all the difference. Managers are often involved in the interview process. They are one of the first interactions a potential new hire has with the organization. So it's critical to work closely to make sure there is a consistent open line of communication between a new hire and those who would be their managers, and that those managers are working collaboratively and positively with the employees to reduce turnover. Work to create a culture of trust. An organization with a culture of trust gets good PR, and good PR goes a long way toward increasing employee referrals and reducing talent acquisition costs. Organizations with higher levels of trust and transparency often have higher levels of performance and retention, thereby reducing turnover and talent acquisition costs. An organization with a culture of distrust is an organization destined to be doomed. To attract good talent and maintain positive employee retention, make sure your organization has a culture of trust, not distrust. Hire the right kind of employees who are both a skills and a cultural fit. When trying to attract new talent, a focus on both aspects is important to success. Sure, some people are shooting stars, and you'd be lucky to catch them. But if they're not a fit for the culture of your organization, then you're not likely to see maximum performance or retention from that new hire. By understanding your culture and interviewing and choosing the right hires in the first place, you're getting a leg up on setting up a relationship that can last. This chapter states it best. There is a strong link between a company's financial success and its success in attracting, managing, retaining talent. Let's be clear about what is good talent. Not everybody can be classified as a star performer. In fact, if the organization is full of star performers, then there will be organizational dysfunctionality as each seeks to be the top performer. It is important to attract, manage, retain good talent so as to keep the organization functioning when the star performer leaves. The rest of the chapter is fairly self-explanatory regarding the effective selection and placement strategies. Instead of spending the next few minutes on covering the final topics of the chapter, I would like to provide a real-world example that incorporates many of the concepts discussed and presented in the chapter. Upon my return as an expatriate from Argentina, I was made Vice President of Financial Planning and Analysis for the International HQ subsidiary. My staff consisted of 6 analysts, none of whom spoke any foreign language, nor had worked overseas. Working with the HRM area, I was able to reconstruct the job description to better match the company's global culture. Slowly, through attrition over 2 years, I totally restructured my staff to better reflect the international environment in which we operated. This was accomplished by bringing star performers from the international operations to work in the U.S., and by going to some of the top business schools in the nation and hiring foreign nationals who could communicate directly with the key financial staff in our international properties. Several years later, as we needed to replace senior finance executives in some of our international operations, analysts from my staff were selected and sent to these sensitive financial positions. With foresight and good HRM planning, the company had built a bench of global leaders to meet the needs of the company.